Thank you, Brian. I appreciate you putting me first and not have to follow any of the good speakers. So, those of you who don't know, I am Brad Fisher. I was fortunate enough to grow up in Southmore Shores with some of the people that are here today. Lived in there since '81. Live off the lake now, but very involved in the lake. My parents still live there. So it's been a great time being involved in this lake through all the ups and downs and seeing what the local people can do when we go through bad times. And that's the important thing. Everybody comes together and people stick around and we get stuff figured out. So it's been a great run. I remember 20 some years ago, I was at work and a guy said, "Hey, we want you to come to this meeting on Sunday. It's for a place called the Snow Dreamers." And I'm like, what's that? So he took me to a meeting and I said 20 some years later, here we are. So a quick little history on the Rec Club. Started in 1972 as the Snow Dreamers when we had a lot of snow and ice to enjoy snowmobiling. In the blizzard, Snow Dreamers were called upon to help everybody in the time of need because there was a lot of snow. So they ran around, delivered food to people, supplies for people that couldn't get out of their houses. As the snow started going away in the early 90s, membership dropped down from that 175 families down to about, they said, roughly 30. So in 2026, the name was changed to the Grand Lake Rec Club. We want to bring everybody back together with all the great things you can do around this lake. As far as snowmobiling, boating, four-wheeling, kayaking, you name it, we want to bring it all together. So now we're back up to roughly 180 families, and we have 20 businesses that support us every year also. So it's been a steady climb. It's been great. As you guys know, about 5 years ago, there was a tragedy on the lake with Trevor Mobley. We got a call from them to help figure out what we could do to make sure their main goal was this doesn't happen to another family. So yes, they were upset with what happened, but they wanted to make sure no other family had to go through this. So they said, how can we light up this lake? So we worked with them, got some ideas, worked with the state, got approval to put some extra safety lights out, and it's evolved into, we have 26 illuminated buoys now, we've got 45 blinking lights out there. So hopefully if you're out at night, you know where you're going and can get there safely. We do have, if you see the illuminated balls, they use those for, now they're going to start using them when there's fireworks and stuff to set perimeters. We've got about a half dozen of those, so if you see a big red ball out there, that means they're going to be putting something there like a barge or fireworks, so stay out of those too. And the great thing about it, when Mobley said we want to raise some money to help with this, and we said, okay, that's great. How much money can we raise? The first year they came to us with $45,000 to help get this project started. And over the last 5 years, they've brought over $130,000 to us through their foundation. So thank you everyone that has supported that foundation, which has allowed us to do all this stuff to the lake. Another thing we do with that money is we support the local fire departments. The city of Salina, Montezuma, and St. Mary's Township. We give them usually $4,000 to $8,000 a year to help them buy all the rescue equipment needed for, if it's ice water rescue, we have suits and everything for that. If it's during the summer, we have stuff on boats to help with rescues now. So as you can see, these illuminated buoys, which we're getting great feedback on, the problem is they're a lot more work than normal buoy. So our club took on the keeping them clean, helping the state put them in. So last month we met in the shop, cleaned them all up, tested all the lights, relabeled anything that was messed up. So I know in a couple of weeks with Dave Failer and his crew, we will send some of our people out with our logging boat to help put them in. A couple pictures of what it looks like. We had a rack built. The state puts this rack on the front of our boat for us so we can go around and easily put these out. If you do have any problems with us, you can reach out to the Rec Club or the state and let us know that it's not working or it's moved. Looks like last year we had a couple of them that may have been ran over, so maybe the lights weren't working. I don't know what happened on those, so keep an eye out for them when you're coming in at night. This is what some of the time looks like when we're out putting them in. Very strategically placed, as you can see. Well, it's great. Now, the state's got a lot of work to do, and with their barge, it takes them a couple days to get around the lake and put these out. With ours, we can go a lot faster, and we've got some volunteers that help, and we can usually get all the buoys out in one day, and then in the fall, we can get them back in one day. So the state can be doing some other things to make the lake better. So you see the state's out there with us when we're pulling them out. It's not the funnest job to do. Everybody knows what's at the bottom of the lake. When it gets on your hands and stuff, we'll pull about 40 of these out and see how you look when at the end of the day. So that's why people are in rain suits. Another thing we've done for a lot of years is the safety buckets. You'll see these also on the rock piers in between some of the lights. So if lights aren't working, as you can see, they're reflective. and hopefully at night you're going slow enough that you'll see a little reflection off of them from the moon, or some people carry a little light and they'll shine out to see where everything's at. So if you see those out there, they're a low-cost solution to make the lake a lot safer. I think we have $5 to $8 a bucket in these because everything's donated. All right, our pride and joy, if you've seen it around the lake, our log dog. So we bought this log dog, I think about 10 years ago, 7 to 10 years ago, I can't remember what it was now. That's what it looked like in the beginning. We bought this boat for $1,200, said we're going to do something to help clean up the lake so we're not taking out these nice pontoons and destroying them. We need to get in places that people don't want to take their boats in because you can put holes in the bottom of your tunes. But we got to get this stuff out of here because it's a safety factor if it floats out any farther. So we designed it, we put this boat together. As you can see, we ripped everything off, kind of redesigned it so we had room on the front. And the next picture is our first year out. We didn't get far. We started in Rustic Channel. As you can see what was coming in there, that log was probably a 60-some footer. We saw it sticking out a little bit out of the water. We grabbed a hold of it. Next thing we know, we're pulling a 60-footer out. So first time the boat went out, the first day, this picture's from that. I think it's a great picture. I showed at most places I talk. It just shows the amount of things that are in one. That was in Rustic Channel and Southmore Shores. Those all came from that area. It's just amazing. When you see that stick sticking out of the water, a lot of us know now that we've grabbed a hold of them. You don't know what you're going to grab a hold of. You may grab a stick and it's a little twig and it might be a 60 or 80-foot log. So this last weekend was lake cleanup, which we really enjoy helping with. The state puts on a great thing there. They clean up all the banks. We had 2 boats that went out. We had our rec club boat, and then Lakeshore Marina donated a boat just to help haul people to all the locations that we were going to. Ebony, she's here. She took about 100 pictures, so it took me a while to go through to pick a couple out for you. This is Prairie Creek Beach. This log tree fell down a couple years ago. That one in the left picture was about 80 feet long. Last year the water was up in the spring, we couldn't saw it up. Last year when the water was down, we couldn't get to it in time. So we decided last weekend we were gonna get this thing caught up. So we had 5 chainsaws running, pry bars, a winch on the front of the boat, and we cut this all up and got it off the beach. So now if you go to Prairie Creek, we should be able to fit another 6 to 8 boats on that beach this summer. That's what it looked like when we got done. There's a nice table there now because we couldn't get it out of the sand, so I cut the top off. So if anybody needs to bring their chairs, there's a nice cup holder there for you. We did Prairie Creek Beach. We did Bems Beach out in front of Bems. We did the beach in front of Cozy Marina. And we pulled out a couple more logs and a pile of trash I'm going to show you in 4 hours. So we have one more beach, which is right outside of here on this end that we'll get to here soon. But as you can see, we try to make these beaches suitable for everyone. So if you don't want to get in the water, that's fine. Pull your boat up there, take your kids, your grandkids. If you find problems out there, stuff needs cleaned up, let us know and we'll be back to help out with it. So this year we updated our winch, which was much needed. We had an old hand crank on there. It was not fun to try to get logs out. And we try to tie them to the side of the boat, get them to a ramp, and it took a lot of time to get logs in. So we're trying to be more efficient with all the volunteers we had. So Davis Welding worked with us to get our winch mounted better. We put an electric winch on it this time. We purchased a grapple. So the night before lake cleanup, I got a message that there was a large log out somewhere between Doss Landing out in that area floating. So when we took off, we hit one of the beaches, which was Bems Beach, and then decided we need to go try to find this log. So the other boat found it. We could see 10 or 15 feet of it sticking out, and we started pulling it up, and it ended up 40-some feet long. I'll show you a video here in a second of how we do that. If you look on the front of the boat, this stuff's all from the beaches. And we had, like Dave said, we had a truckload of stuff when they came to pick it up. So be mindful out there. If you see people throwing stuff in the water, remind them that we don't need it in there. And if you see something, please help pick it up to keep the lake clean. But that was just from the 3 beaches we stopped at. Had all that stuff piled up on it. Here's a little video I'm going to show you kind of how we do it. Luckily Keith was able to, it was on Facebook Live. If you haven't seen it yet, it'll zoom in here in a second. So we're able now with that to go down, we put the grapple on it, we pick it up, we pull it up a little bit, we've got chainsaws and we cut it up enough to get it on the front of the boat. So as you saw in that picture before, it took about 6 or 8 times to get this log up enough that we could get it up there and get it on so we get to the beach. So he'll zoom here in a second. But there again, when you find these, you know, you think of all the fishermen or even us boaters going across the water. Sometimes people are going across the water at 70, 80 mile an hour now. You hit that 40-foot log, it's going to be bad things. So when you see these, please let us know. we try to get out and do these because the state's busy dredging and doing other things to help make this lake better also.
It's a long one, that's for sure.
So please reach out to us. The video will be over here shortly. Problem is we never know how much we can pick up. It's a 2,000-pound winch. Luckily we had 4 tunes to help get this thing up on there. So there we put it on there and we took it to the beach. So I showed you pictures of the log dog when we bought it. Here's what it looks like now. Lots of updates. I think we put $13,000 worth of stuff on it this last year, which is the winch update, which was great. Davis went through our tunes and beefed them up in the places that we hit stuff and made it a little safer for us. Last year we had holes in 3 out of 4 tunes, but it's part of it. And Ed Davis says, "What do you guys do with this thing?" Everything that nobody else wants to do with theirs. And he just laughed. And he said, "Well, I think I'm not doing a good job. You come back every year." And I said, "Nope, just keep doing it. You're doing great." So it's been helpful. You see we put the outriggers on the back. Those work great. The problem with our tunes, we would try to go up to something, especially when it's rough, and with the waves, our tunes would hit the rocks when we were trying to stabilize. Now we can get close, put those down, so we don't get into the rocks as much. So those were a great asset. We redid the whole, we stripped everything off last year, put a new helm and everything on it. These 2 gentlemen up in the front were with me at Outdoorsman and did all the labor to get all that stuff put on, which was greatly appreciated. So we think we've got this boat now ready to do everything we need to, and I'll show you here in a couple minutes a slide of the sonar unit. Some of the other things we're involved in, we may be known to help with a couple gatherings on the lake. We get a lot of good feedback on those, so we'll hopefully see everybody there this year. A couple pictures of what those look like around 4th of July. It's a great time, and we appreciate everybody's safety. We've yet to have a problem at one of them. But no fights, nobody getting hurt, nobody getting stuck in between boats, so please be cautious of your neighbors when you're out there. We also clean up the ditches on 219, which I know we've done for a long time, probably 20-some years. Some of the older guys can talk about, but we do it 3 to 4 times a year. I will say over the 20-some years I've been involved, people have gotten better about not throwing trash out. This spring was a little more than we expected, but usually when we go back in the later part of the year, there's very minimal. So thanks everybody for that. Just a reminder, if they're in the ditches, everybody knows where the ditch water goes, right? It goes to the lake. So if you see something, please stop and pick it up. Or if you're going to think you're going to throw something out of your vehicle, please think about it twice before you do it. Last year, we partnered with the ODNR due to they were shutting dredges down towards the end of the year and thought, what can we do that hasn't been done in a while? And they had not been up the channels because we've been concentrating on dredging so much to clean up the trees that were falling. We were getting a lot of calls during the year for leaning trees, falling trees, people hitting them on their boats. So we thought, let's get out there and try to get these taken care of. So we hit all the major tributaries first, and then they came back this spring and hit a few other places. They've removed 600-800 trees from all these channels that were leaning. And I know people say, why are we taking trees down? I promise you these trees were leaning, going to end up in the channel, end up in the lake. And they were out there, they took the extra time with chainsaws, they cut them off to leave the roots and the root ball there, and they put the trees behind them so they can stabilize the ground there so it's not going in the... So they did a great job, they worked real hard on it. Some more pictures of it. We sent our crew out, we would sonar areas, the channels, coming into all your guys' channels to see if we could find anything for them to grab. So here's our new sonar unit. This is a 15-inch screen. It's one of the latest and greatest. It's getting a little work done to it now. We had a problem with the screen. The boathouse, I don't know how they find time, but they found time to help us come look at it because they know about these and they sent it off for us. Hopefully we'll have it back in the next week or so. But if you see on there on the screen, we found that out in front of the Little Chick when they were working out there. I got this video the next day. That's what that looks like when we pull it out of the water. It was about a 30-foot log. So just a little comparison, there again, what that looks like on our sonar. I asked him how close we were when we marked it, because it's a guess when you throw the ball out where it's going to be. He said, oh, you were about 8 feet off. So that's how precise we can get with this. Also, when we find stuff, we can mark it. It's GPS. We can locate it. We're working on, when buoys go out this year, we want to try to make it so we mark where the buoy goes. We want to find the safest area, so we put the buoy, and then you drive to the center of the channel. It's just like a road. We want you to go on the left and the right side of the buoy. Major things that happens there. We know there's nothing there underwater at the time when we mark it. And then as the water goes down, it'll create a channel if everybody goes in the same spot and get rid of some of that silt. So it'll make kind of a V. So when the water gets lower, hopefully you won't be turning up as much mud. So if we can get everybody, especially like even coming in here, we're going to put the buoys where we think the safest spot is. Go on the left and right side of that. and you should have a lot safer, and we should save a lot of props this year. Projects that we've been working on. It was a great partnership with the LIA. As you guys know, the ADA dock we always took care of. We rebuilt it about 10 years ago, the wood one that was out there, and 2 years later the ice just demolished it. So we thought we got to get another one somewhere. We tried to get it somewhere where the waves wouldn't get it. So you guys know a couple years ago we put this floating dock in, which the LIA graciously helped us fund this, and Shin Brothers helped us put it in, and helped us purchase it. So then we thought, how can we add to make this better? LIA there again comes up with this money for a playground. So how can we tie this all together? We all met out there. We wanted a place that you could come to, your kids could play, you could fish, you can have a cookout, there's a restroom right around the corner from it there. So we put this all together. It was a great project, great partnership. Where there'll be a sign and a ribbon cutting coming out soon. There was a lot of people involved. The TriStar kids were out there. They built this for us. They poured the concrete for us. They learned the traits that they need in this area to develop, to get a job. So it was a great partnership. Eric back there kind of spearheaded it for us. He was out there working with them, so thanks, Eric. We planted the grass out there last Friday, so hopefully that'll be coming up soon. There's another aerial of it. All right, the oil derrick, what a piece of history, right? So the piece of history kept dwindling. In 2014, it became a hazard because when the water was up, you could see about one rock sticking up. So we thought, what can we do to make this better and get a piece of history? So we raised money for the rock. We put about 300 ton of rock out there, and we hauled 2 9-yard or 10-yard loads of concrete out there on a barge, which we think was the first time on this lake. We had a lot of good partners there then. Shin Brothers hauled the rock for us. Van Tilburg's built us the oil derrick. A lot of volunteers out there doing it. You'll see the pictures. I don't think we've had a concrete truck on a barge since, but I can tell you in the future we're working to do it again. So we're going to need people's help with that. Here's what it looks like now. This is about 8 years after we did the 300 ton and 20 yards of concrete. It needs some help. So we're looking for people to help us with this. You know, historical societies, we've been talking to them, which a lot of them don't have money. We're working to get with oil companies. What a greater thing, you know, the first offshore oil derrick to put their names on it. So we're working to try to get that done. The state's going to try to help us get some rock out this year. We funded the rock for it just to stabilize it again until we can get a permanent structure out there. So another thing that goes on top of there, which is not in that picture, is a big light. We put that one out there for multiple reasons. One, to put it on top of the oil derrick because it looked neat, but the biggest one is for safety. If you're on the water at night and you're not behind an island, you should be able to see that light from anywhere. So if you feel that you're on the lake and don't know where you are, look for that light. Know where the oil derrick is during the day, so you can get to the oil derrick and then go from there and figure out where you need to go. Any questions on the oil derrick? All right, fundraising. If any of I couldn't make it, but all the volunteers did a great job. Bayview did a great job. We were asked to help with live duck races last year. Thought we could raise a little money. We walked out of there with almost $4,500, thanks to everybody's support that came to the races and made donations. So thank you all for doing that. We are going to do it again next February, I think. I don't know if we have the date for it. Our big one, Bicycle Poker Run, is coming up on the 14th. Always the second Saturday in June. So we look forward to that. Always hope and pray for great weather. We do have a raffle that we're doing. We have tickets in the back. You can come to our table after the meeting. There's 10 prizes. They're selling pretty well, so we hope to have them sold even before the poker run. If you want to know more about what we're doing, we travel around to a different establishment every month. This started years ago because we wanted to help support the establishments and we wanted to get to know the people around the lake. We come up with some of our best ideas from people that say, oh, what are you guys talking about over here? Hey, we've got this problem, or hey, you thought about doing this? And we get a lot of great ideas out of them. So we have magnets on the table. Feel free to take one and come join us at any of our meetings. If you want to be a member, go to our website and do it through there, or send an email, or we have some sheets in the back if you want to become a member today. We thank everybody for volunteering, to protect and take care of this great lake that we share. So with that, I'll take any questions. No questions? Yes?
So when you bring out the logs and things that you've gotten from the lake, what do you do with all that wood afterwards? This looks like a pretty big pile.
There's my timer to be done. I don't want to go over for Miller. A lot of times if we're close to any landings, we actually cut them into firewood and we stack them up so the campers can use them, is our plan. If we're close to a beach, sometimes we'll take them back there, get them off the beach so they can't float back out, depending on what's close. But yeah, the campers like it. It's wet wood, but it dries out and it burns well in their pits, so we'll take it to the closest landing. Any other questions?
Yeah, the wood that you say that's like leaning and like still like in the ground, right? And you guys are taking those down. Is there any bats or anything that get affected by that?
No, the state does apply by all the bat rules for taking trees down. There's certainly certain times you can do it. The state they have to go through a lot of hoops during those things for different seasons, and we do obey by those. But if they're in the water or going to be close to the water, they come down. There's usually not any bats or anything in them. It's sometimes easier to get them before they go in because it's a safety hazard, or when you go through the channels at night. Unfortunately, it just keeps eroding. We're never going to be rock all around the lake, but which is the best thing we can do for what we have right now.
All right, thanks for asking.
Yep.
Or I mean, asking.
Any other questions? Thank you guys for your support.